Hello, this is Josiah O'Keefe Lopez. This is my PBL project. I titled it The Best of the Best. The book is Reinventing Project-Based Learning by Susie Boss and Jane Krause. Um, I'm going to review chapters 3, 4, and 5. I'm going to start with chapter 3. And chapter 3 was Imagining the Possibilities. As you can see, I put a bright light right there to show what the big idea is. It's to identify the central concepts of the project and the process, the overall process. Projects are a complete learning experience, um, and they connect directly to the student's interests and experiences. That's why on the next slide I put different interests and experiences that might get students engaged. Um, it connects directly to students, and the textbook may be used as a reference book, not as a main source of learning. Um, the concepts are important, and it relates to real life experiences and real world relevance. So if the students are interested in these topics and they could see how they could utilize it in the real world, they're going to put in more effort. Let's see. The project offers value for the community. Um, the students will be more interested. It would create critical thinkers and expert thinking. This goes into my third slide for chapter 3 on Bloom's taxonomy. Bloom's taxonomy touches on how to create, evaluate, analyze, apply, and understand and remember. The chapter touches on this. The students come up with questions that drive the students' actions. The students learn to be independent um, and productive citizens. Moving on to chapter 4, strategies for discovery. So in chapter 4, it talks about how technology is used. Let's see, meaningful and motivating learning. Um, so we'd like to integrate technology that leads to critical thinking, um, overall student experience, and how they master the content. And a lot of kids are super involved with technology, and it would get them engaged in the activity, and so they could ultimately become independent learners. Chapter 4 also talked about overcoming pitfalls. In project-based learning, in anything, there's going to be there could be a lot of pitfalls. Um, so some subjects and topics that you want to stay away from, like things that could be Googled. You want to make sure that there could be significant learning, that you could compare and contrast, predict, that you use cause and effect. Something that you want to maybe choose a topic that changes over time, that has patterns or trends. Um, just make sure that the topics that you pick for the project-based learning um, can be significant. The students can create and show um, a significant learning experience. It also Chapter 4 also talks about getting started with the project. Um, it wants to get away from traditional thinking, to engage the learners. Want to know something that they don't already know. Um, Students come up with the questions and they answer them. So they're more interested, and they create the questions that they want to know. So they do their research and find the references that help them come up with the answers. There are different learning paths. That's why I put this picture, because there's different paths. Um, these PBLs are loosely designed, um, and they reach beyond schools to involve others. So it gets the community involved. It gets everybody else involved besides just a textbook or um, a school. So moving on to chapter five. Chapter five is pretty much all about assessments. I put this picture because it talks about collaborating. There's personal learning experiences, open-ended questions, new understanding, but it ultimately comes down to teachers, parents, and the community getting involved, um, and helping the students meet their academic expectations. So, and then it also talked about formative assessments. Formative assessments are assessments along the way, pretty much checking for understanding. You could adjust the project, um, or any misunderstanding, guide the students in a new direction. There's exit slips. That's why I put this picture. Exit slips or enter admit slips, questions that they have to answer. A good way for formative assessment is just to let the groups talk and communicate, and the teacher could walk around and listen to the groups and make sure they're making good progress. This is also a great way for interactive interactive hmm, for interactive inventories and to see what's popular in culture at the time, just throughout the group communicating. And the third slide for the chapter five would be the summative assessment. So the summative assessment is at the end of the project. PBL, its goal is an end result. So it's measuring students' learning, evaluating the quality of the work. A lot of times there's a rubric, a common rubric that's used, so um, each student or each grade level knows what's expected from them. Um, and they could do a performance task. There could be a test that's given, um, but there should be objectives, clear activities, and clear evidence. Um, but the thing I like about a summative assessments is the common rubric, so the students know what's expected of them from across the board, across subject matter. And the last slide is my works cited. Thank you.